Welcome back to McCarthy Performance. We're putting a stock OEM windage tray. This is just an example. This one's extremely dirty. We'll have to clean it all up. But that's what they usually look like. Lovely, ain't it? So, you have to do a little bit of modifying on these. It isn't a real big deal. And you're also going to have to modify possibly the nuts because this is a larger diameter than the factory ones. So you have to bear that in mind, that sometimes you have to do a little adjustment. Now, the rods are not stock, so we have to check to make sure we have clearance with the tray. Now, when we put the tray in, before we do anything, we're going to have to open up some holes, and there's some oval holes in the tray that are going to have to be opened up round because the studs aren't going to fit through there. So you can use a unit bit. You don't want to make the hole any bigger than you have to. So usually what I do is I go down this way, flip the tray around, hit it the other way. Then I go in here with a little stone and I deburr all the holes. You want to make sure there's no burrs hanging off of it, wire wheel it. When you get to that point, now with most ARP stuff, and I don't know why they do it, but they give you a serrated flange nut, and I hate these things, but they give them to you, so I'm going to use them. Now, what I do with these is I sand all the serration off of them. I've got some 80 grit. I just put it on something flat. I got a precision block, but you don't need that. Just sand them flat until you get rid of most of the serration. What that's going to do is, because this cover is stamped, it's not perfectly flat around these areas, and when you crank that down, it's going to make a burr. Now, anything dry, it just drives me completely nuts. Is, you know, you build an engine, you try not to put any metal in it. You know damn well when you crank these down and burrs are hanging off of them. What are you going to do? Sit there and pick all the burrs off of them? So I sand them pretty much till they're all gone. And if you look at this one here, you can see that it's still got, and it's usually on the edge right here. This still's got hooks in it. You know, it's still sharp. It'll hook into the metal and burr it up. And I sanded that one pretty much flat. So that one isn't going to make much of a burr, if any. And I usually put a little red Loctite on it. And that's all you need. Now, on some of the big blocks with the Teflon coated trays in that, you crank them. Now, you crank these serrated flange nuts into it, and you got Teflon, you got metal. It's a mess. So I keep a bunch of these, and these are non-serrated. And when I use the standoffs from GM, this is the nut that I use for the stock factory tray or the Teflon coated trays, because these don't bring up a burr. So we're going to open up the holes in the tray, going to deburr it, and we'll get back to putting the tray on the LS. 120 thousandths. I just got done checking them all. So we're going to put this on here like that. Everything's going to clear. Like I said, it's asymmetrical. I've shimmed both sides. It doesn't need to be. It's asymmetrical. Everything looks good. We're going to put the nuts down. We'll put a little Loctite on them. And if all possible, we're going to let it go that way. We're going to let it favor one way as the rods swing. This area here, we want to make sure it definitely has enough clearance now to swing through. That should not be a problem. Want to move fairly quick. This Loctite ain't going to set up right away, but you know, we don't want to screw around too much. Once it's all tightened down, before I torque it final, I'll rotate it through again, make sure everything clears, but I think pretty much we got her good. I don't know if you've seen that or not, but when I drawed that one up, it pulled the windage tray and flattened it a little bit. Like I said, these holes are stamped. That's all. This is all a stamping. There's nothing perfectly flat. So probably have to take one off, even though it has Loctite on it. We have the pickup still to put on, and the pickup, I'm going to do some prep work on that. It is not acceptable out of the box. It's got a little bit of a burr on it. Okay, everything clears. Now on this pickup, we're going to break this. There's metal hanging off of that, so that's going to get removed. This has got the double bolt pattern. I don't have the pickup bolts. I believe I don't have them, so. And I got to fit it for the correct O-ring, but so probably you'll take that one off, obviously, and sometimes you gotta. I always check the pickup height. I usually use Play-Doh, put a bag over this, zip up bag, put some Play-Doh on it, measure it. You can tell the way it's setting right now. It's not setting true, but I'm going to take that nut off. We'll tighten everything all up. Windage tray's on. I want to make sure nothing's binding on this. This nut is right on this tube, so these are at 28. I'm probably going to torque that one up just a little bit more, just so it clears that tube. We don't want that tube rubbing on it. I might, no, we're going to move it. I'm going to move that just a little bit, hopefully. It ain't going to take much, but I'd rather have it right in on the flat than on the point, and it'll clear there, so it's going to end up going a little bit more on torque. 30, 2 pounds, roughly. Yeah, it's rocking on it. I'm going to take that nut off and I'm going to trim it down on that point. I'm going to mark it. If we didn't put the 2 shims underneath the tray, the rods might hit the tray. Now that this nut's up higher on the stud, it's hitting the nut. So you can't win, you know, but you got to always check all this stuff. I don't want to crank it up any tighter than 30. So I wasn't happy with the way that flange nut was holding up the pickup tube. So what I did was I modified a flange nut and put it in the lathe and trimmed a little bit off of it. So we want to make sure that that pickup tube sets flat to the pump. We don't want it to be any kind of bind to hang up and have a problem with it not sealing properly up against the oil pump with the O-ring in it. It was in a little bit of a bind. So this is what we did. We just trimmed a little bit off of it, opposed to the other nut. So there should be room now for it to clear. You know, I thought I could just give it a couple more pounds and get it to turn, and that wasn't going to work properly. And if you see the tray here, you'll notice that it does make a mark when I tighten that bolt up, but it's not making a burr or pulling up a burr. So we'll put a little Loctite on that, torque that one up, and we'll be ready to go. Like I said, I have to modify the pickup a little bit and do a little bit of work on that. I'm not going to cover that in this video. So put a little drop of Loctite on it because we washed all that away. Okay. Put a little marker paint on it and make sure it ain't rubbing. It's close, but it's not as bad as it was. Well, it's not rubbing, so I think we're going to call it on this one. And if you're looking at that color and you're wondering what color that is, I'll tell you. It's dark Ford blue. So, if you're going to hate, you might as well hate good. And I've painted these things Pontiac blue too. I do a fair amount of them, and it doesn't bother me. But haters gotta hate. So we got the tray in, and I've got it shimmed. Everything looks good. I do have the bolts for this. I just found them. Going to deburr the pickup, put the proper O-ring in it. I got to put a baffle in the pan, not a big deal. Got a brand new pan for it, and put the pan on it, and then start putting the heads on it. Now, I don't think I covered any of this engine when I was assembling it on my channel. Quite honestly, guys, I don't really know what to put on my channel. The stuff that I think that nobody wants to watch, everybody watches it. And the stuff that I think you want to watch, nobody watches it. So, but hey, if, like I've said before, if 20 guys get something out of it and they watch my stuff, well, thanks. I would like to see how far it can go. I wouldn't mind seeing if I could hit 1,000, but we got a long ways to go from there. So, the people that are watching my channel, thanks.